You and I have a somewhat similar experience with the GG streaming community. We both were participants in that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure I know so most of it, most like probably like 90% of the stuff we did. At least for me, I don't know as much if it applies to you, but like a lot of it was like just discussions with people. But we also had some moments where we would both engage with, and there was a couple other people too who would as well, with debating anti-Gamergate people.
Yep, I remember those days. Some actually, you know what? The ones that were willing to come on, I actually appreciated because at least they were willing to have a conversation with us. Is more than I could say for a lot of the other anti-gamer gators. And even if I walked away disagreeing with them, I still appreciated the fact that, they took time out of their day to come and talk to someone on the opposite side. And that's not something you saw a lot then, and it's not something you see a lot now. And I think it definitely needs to happen a lot more often.
Yeah, no, I agree. I actually really am grateful that they, even if we disagreed strongly on everything, that like they were willing to come on and have the conversation.
Hmm.
Do you have?
Exactly. And I walked away learning, like I said, I part of the reason I love having these conversations is I learn something new, even if it's just another person's life experiences and what led them to believe the way that they do. You know, I see it as a win. So I always enjoyed those. Well, there was one, let me say, that uh, helicopter.
Oh
You remember
boy,
that name.
helicopter guy.
We thought we were all convinced the entire debate that he was a troll. And then we start playing video games with him after the stream, and he's still going. And Nurgle's like, "Dude, the stream's over. You can cut the act." And I'm just like, "I don't think it's an act. I think
No,
he's really let the."
he was a true believer. I actually like helicopter guy. I thought he was the most
He was
interesting one
hilarious.
who we would debate with. I think.
Uh, that's a way of putting it. Yeah, he was interesting. You know what? Sometimes I think about him and wonder whatever happened to him.
I wish I want to get back in touch with him. I really do.
I know, right? You're like, dude, remember me? I'm that weird chick from that stream you came on.
Well, it was you, me. This was on Koprulu Radio, that podcast I used to run.
Nurgle
Sorry,
was
me and Gladiator
there.
Skull both ran together. But
Nurgle, I remember Nurgle was there. I remember Leon was there.
Sargon was
Um,
there. Well, for one of them, we debated
I
helicopter guy like 20 times. But
I remember the stream of Sargon. That was a wild night.
dude, helicopter guy was like, Sargon, your arguments are bullshit. Netscape, he's making the better arguments here. It's like, well,
I just
thanks, I
remember
think.
having to mute. I just remember having to mute because I couldn't stop. I'm like, okay, if I just burst out laughing, I'm gonna come across as really rude. So I just muted and just started laughing hysterically at that. I'm like, dude, what the fuck?
But you have to give helicopter guy props because like it seems like he like actually prepared and shit. Like he
He
knew what
did.
was happening. I don't know if he prepared or if he was just like naturally plugged in because he was on Reddit talking about it all the time. Because like on Reddit, he was like one of the most prolific debate bros
I
on
know.
Reddit.
Oh
So
man.
I guess maybe he was familiar with like all the intricacies of like the ins and so like a lot of the anti-Gamergate people are like, oh yeah, Gamergate bad. Like, what do you know about it? And they're like, well, you're just a bunch of sexists. It's like, oh,
Uh,
but like he'd be like, okay,
it,
let's get into the weeds about whether or not this specific instance of social media, social justice advocacy is a form of
yep.
censorship. It's like he'd jump into the weeds real fast. It's like, holy cow! Like, let's
Oh
have the
yeah.
discussion.
I respected the hell. You know what? As hilarious and as nutty as he was, I respected the hell out of him for that because he came into this actually knowing what the hell he was talking about. So I respected him for that. Still, still, fucking one of the craziest debate slash interviews I've ever been a part of. But it was, you know, I could still respect that he actually did his research.
Yeah, and I guess it was like it's so funny because I recognize a lot of myself in him too because I am also like that
Okay,
debate.
you're gonna have to explain this.
I also have like that debate bro personality where I'm like, okay, let's jump in and like have like a 6 hour debate on something.
Mm,
Like I'm very much
yeah,
like
you're
that.
not wrong.
You know.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah. Too much so sometimes, in fact. It kind of I need to maybe work on that a bit.
Yeah,
But
yeah, might be good.
thanks. But I really enjoy it
Hey,
too,
you know
so
what? I'm gonna. Hey, if you want to get help for whatever, I encourage that.
no, I don't think it's like an
Self-improvement
issue.
is always a good
I
thing.
think that I'm operating in a space now, like the political streaming space, where like that's the expectation and that's like normal. So, be,
Yeah,
with like
I can
Destiny and people like that. Anyway,
imagine. Destiny. Oh,
uh,
Destiny.
he inspired me to come back into this space. By the way,
Really?
yeah,
That is unexpected, but okay.
yeah.
You know what? Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I can see that. Now that I'm thinking about it, I can see that.